So this is, without a doubt, the worst case scenario for Nana. She is in a situation that if the cell phone is found, everything Kyouya just accused her of is going to be confirmed. A lot of the times, what people forget when watching Talentless Nana is that before Nana came to this island, the students were led to believe that there is a group of monsters that may have already invaded their presence, that may have invaded their classroom, that is all about killing them, and they don't know what they look like, if they even exist, and Nana used that since the beginning to her advantage to indicate that even though she's a transfer student, that she is also just a victim of what these horrible monsters are doing, and because of her so-called mind-reading abilities, she can hear them. People, they are not as fleshed out and they're not as interesting as Kyouya or Nana, but in terms of them being quote-unquote stupid, they're naive because they're children, and children were led to believe monsters were trying to kill them even before they saw Nana. So all the times where she skates around not being exposed isn't because it's plot convenient, it's because literally these characters have no idea what's trying to kill them right now. This is a make it or break it situation. Whoever comes out victorious, I think, is going to have these group of people turn against them. If Nana ends up skating around this, if she somehow excuses having the phone on her, or she's already abandoned the phone somehow, which seems unlikely based on the fact that Kyouya has been watching her this entire episode, which is why he knew she most likely sent the text at 3:04. It still feels to me that Nana has a slight chance at being able to skate around and navigate around this. But if Kyouya, on the other hand, gets exposed as a lie, then she could easily twist that and say, you knew all these things and you were trying to plant the evidence on me, you're the enemy of humanity, then Kyouya's kind of in the ship. It's probably not the worst case scenario for him because he's seemingly immortal, nothing can kill him. I mean, he drank poison and it really just gave him a hot flash. That was the worst thing that happened. So it's going to be very fascinating to see which one of these two is going to come out on top, or if it's somehow going to end in a draw. The logical side would say is probably a draw because we're only episode 8 of 12 and seemingly the Battle of Wits is still going on, but without a doubt this is my personal favorite episode. I love the whole necromancer angle and what they were able to accomplish with that storyline, but the Battle of Wits between Kyouya and Nana has always been the star of the show, and these are the two best characters. They put all the focus on Kyouya and Nana getting character development and plot progression and all the interesting personas where everyone else was a trope and a trait. But those tropes and traits are naive kids who are scared of getting killed by enemies of humanity and they don't know what it looks like, and their so-called leader is now being accused of being a murderer, and it seems irrational, but what if that is true? There's a lot of things happening, and I used to hear a lot of smack about Kyouya before walking into this anime fully. After a couple of episodes, people who apparently read the manga said that Kyouya's stupid and he doesn't understand. Kyouya, since day one of thinking it could be her, has had the best thought process. Everything looks like it's probably her, but I have no logical proof to turn this on her, even though I see it clear as day that this is too much of an unlikely coincidence, but I'm going to do my damnedest. I wasn't expecting him to drop it all in this episode. I thought this was going to be okay, he's getting closer and closer to being 100% sure, but when he drops the information, and Nana makes a lot of mistakes, and that's one of the best characteristics of Nana, generally with these super brain battle shows where you have characters going up against other intelligent characters. It's hard to follow their thought process, but it's really fun to see their thought process when it does come to fruition. Here we have two kids who make a lot of mistakes. Nana herself has admitted that she makes tons of mistakes, and Kyouya isn't confident in his abilities. He hasn't refined his thought process to the point that he believes he's a Light or an L from Death Note and can just solve everything knowing 100% with certainty that his hunch is indeed correct. These are characters who make mistakes, and the fact that they make those mistakes, it makes it easier to relate to their thought process so you can follow along before they even drop what's happening. But also, it makes it so easy to say, I don't know who should win or who's going to win because both of them are prone to these issues. This episode was just so great to see what Nana was able to do with the cards she was dealt. The idea of bringing back the body from the very first episode, who seemingly is 100% dead. I mean, there's probably still going to be those speculations what if he planted a body double or something? To me, when I saw that, I was expecting that if for whatever reason he is dead, 100% confirmation dead, we would have our girl try to revive him, probably would revive him, and then in return that would expose Nana's secrets. While that I still think could be a potential possibility, the fire does indicate that, well, what if, he somehow survived it, or what if there's still a chance that push comes to shove, Michiru could revive a body even if it's just a pile of ash at the cost of her own life. It's hard to say what they're going to do, but it looks like 100% main character is 100% dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. But then again, maybe he escaped and people are going to give that theory. Really, I don't care who's alive or dead. I'm just interested to see what these two butting heads are going to do. And so far, it's pretty damn intriguing, I have to say. All of the plans she has made, I think this was one of her safer bets. Even though it's fallen flat on its face, the idea of using a falling out of friends, someone who literally is just a hussy who's talking about all the boys she can bang because of her venomous mouth, and Curl using that to her advantage. Yeah, I was out all night doing the same, getting her phone, using a text saying like, here's your contact, poisoning it. It's just a really solid plan when you follow the thought process. Would it fool the greatest detectives of all time? No, but would it fool a group of students? Sure. One of the biggest and boldest points of the episode is her taking a body that they would all recognize, dressing her up as a boy from another school, another uniform that they don't recognize, and encouraging Kyouya to examine the bodies, and he says no. Because that's exactly what she wants me to do, so therefore I shouldn't do it. And because he doesn't go along with what she wants, and he does things in such a way and calls things out in such a way, he's actually able to expose everything about this plan, not in a way that feels supernatural, like he pulled things from thin air, that he Sherlock Holmes it in a way that no one can follow. Everything that she did, for most people walking with her, would fool them. But for Kyouya, who has suspected her for almost a month and a half now, in terms of how long we've been watching this show, it makes sense for him to never take his eyes off of her and not follow along. And the one thing that I think would have really caught him off guard is the text, but the fact that she continued to put her hands in her pocket, something that I don't recall her ever doing in this anime, and Kyouya for damn sure knows she's never done that, and he can easily expose this. The one thing to me is I'm kind of expecting that because this is Talentless Nana and there is always those twists and turns, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the phone isn't on her and she had like a device that she pressed a button and then that triggered it, which could happen. But honestly, thinking about it, if Nana gets exposed, there's a lot of room for insanity. But honestly, I think I would much prefer Kyouya being exposed as a liar, because Kyouya being an immortal, and Kyouya being arguably, in my opinion, the smartest of the characters between the two, Nana definitely does continue to get the one up on him, but I feel like Nana is more prone to mistakes than Kyouya. Kyoya's a lot more cool, calm, and collected, make sure he's 100% right. It'd be very interesting if she doesn't have the phone on her and Kyouya gets exposed as a liar, and what if he's the enemy of humanity and has to go in hiding? There's a lot of room for a story like that. If she does get exposed, I honestly don't know where they take that. She would probably still try to play the innocent act, or she would just be like, you guys are fools, and jumps out the window or something. Which, honestly, speaking of the window, I love how she makes such a clueless but honestly a believable mistake. The idea of the window only opening from one side because it's broken, only someone who's been in that room before and used that window would know that. And the fact that she just completely forgets about that, it's something that people may want to say is a convenient way for Kyouya to know that she's a liar, but it's something that they're not perfect. They're kids. Even if they are these psychopathic killers or, detectives in training, they are prone to mistakes, and they really had fun with that, and they make it feel believable. The kids not understanding that Nana is the killer, they are kids who believe that there's enemies of humanity before she arrived. That isn't plot convenience. That's not, this is happening just so she can continue to get away, or they're brain dead like people have been saying. No, they're literally kids who are scared for their life, and kids aren't the most rational people, all things considered. Kyouya and Nana are the exception, and even they aren't perfect. The show continues to improve week by week, and has honestly remained to be my personal favorite anime of the season over the past, honestly, month and a half, give or take. The show's amazing, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take it in the final stretch, but let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, theories and speculations, and who do you think's going to win between Kyouya and Nana this week? Or do you think it might be a draw and they'll have to go back to the drawing board? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.